Welcome to this brand new explainer. Today, we are embarking on a seriously fascinating journey. We're going to look at how life on our planet doesn't just, exist. No, life actively conquers, dominates, and constantly rewrites the rules of the game in the absolute most extreme, hostile environments imaginable. So buckle up, because we are diving deep into biological engineering at its absolute finest. And honestly, that's the exact question guiding our analysis today. How does life survive the impossible? I mean, we often look at certain animals and just kind of brush them off as weird oddities of nature, but today we're flipping that script. These aren't oddities at all. They are elite masters of survival. These engineer these brilliant biological solutions that, frankly, human scientists are only just beginning to wrap their heads around. Here's our scientific roadmap for this explainer. First up, masters of survival. Then we'll look at intelligence and complex societies, the miracle of regeneration, surviving on a giant scale, and we'll wrap up with cryptobiosis, the indestructibles.
All right, Section 1, Masters of Survival.
Let's be real, Earth is a wildly dangerous, ever-changing arena. Out here in the wild, you either adapt perfectly or your species is gone. Poof. There's literally no middle ground. So the core takeaway here is that adaptation is the ultimate biological strategy for survival. The 5 incredible creatures we're analyzing today represent the absolute pinnacle of evolutionary engineering. They've all taken entirely different paths to solve the exact same problem: how to stay alive when the environment is throwing everything it has at you.
Section 2, Intelligence and Complex Societies.
Let's dive right into our first strategy, using massive brain power or intense structural teamwork to literally outsmart the environment. And that brings us to one of the most brilliant invertebrates on the planet, the mimic octopus. We are talking about an animal that weighs up to 15 kilograms and can stretch up to 5 meters long. And its biology? It's basically alien. They have 3 hearts, blue blood. They're natural puzzle solvers that can break out of closed tanks and even recognize human faces. But their absolute greatest party trick is shape-shifting. To dodge predators, the mimic octopus physically imitates highly venomous animals like sea snakes or lionfish. It's real-time, dynamic camouflage powered by pure biological genius. Now, to process all of that crazy sensory information, you can actually think of their nervous system like a decentralized computer network. About 2/3 of an octopus's neurons aren't even in its main brain. They are spread out all through its arms. That means each arm can taste, touch, and act almost entirely on its own. It's this rapid, highly energetic intelligence distributed across its whole body, giving it an unparalleled advantage to react to danger in a split second. And this perfectly shows how intelligence doesn't just have to live inside a single individual. It can be collective. Let's look at this comparison. On the left, a leafcutter ant colony, and on the right, a bustling human city. Believe it or not, leafcutter ants from Central and South America mastered agriculture millions of years before humans even thought about it. They don't actually eat the leaves they cut. Instead, they use them to farm a special fungus, which is their real food. And to run these massive farms that feed millions, they've built a highly specialized society. They have complex zoning, literally just like our modern metropolises. There are workers that gather, soldiers that fight, and get this, waste managers whose entire job is just sanitation to prevent disease. Talk about survival through perfect social infrastructure.
Section 3, The Miracle of Regeneration.
Okay, leaving behind brains and societies, let's step into the wild world of structural adaptation and the literal superpower of reversing catastrophic physical damage. Cellular regeneration is the biological capability to regrow complex body parts. We're talking limbs, spinal cords, hearts, and even brain tissue. In human medicine, this is the ultimate holy grail. But for the axolotl, this super cute amphibian native to the lakes of Mexico, it's just a regular Tuesday. The axolotl doesn't just heal a scrape. If it loses an entire leg, a brand new one grows back, complete with perfect bones, muscles, and nerves. Even more mind-blowing, it can repair a severed spinal cord, rebuild chunks of its own heart, and regenerate tissue right from its brain. It completely defies how fragile we usually think life is. So what's the scientific secret behind this? It actually comes down to a state of perpetual youth. You see, unlike most amphibians that go through a physical transformation into adulthood, like, a tadpole turning into a frog, the axolotl remains in a lifelong, permanent larval state. It never fully grows up. It even keeps those little feathery external gills for its entire life. Scientists are intensely studying this because maintaining that cellular plasticity is exactly what lets this creature rewrite its own code when it gets damaged. It's basically the Peter Pan of the animal kingdom. Moving right along to Section 4, surviving on a giant scale. Sometimes, survival means taking a totally different approach. You slow things down, but you drastically scale things up. I'm talking about gigantism as a survival mechanism. 180 tons. Let that sink in. 180 tons and up to 30 meters long. It's a number that's almost impossible to fully process, but that is the weight of a blue whale. And it's not just the biggest animal alive today. It is the largest animal to have ever existed on Earth, period. It completely dwarfs even the most terrifying dinosaurs. From an evolutionary standpoint, being this massive literally takes you off the menu for almost any predator. And it lets you store enough energy from just eating tiny krill to swim across entire oceans. To really put that colossal scale into perspective for you, a human could almost fit inside a blue whale's heart. Just think about that for a second. This mind-bending anatomy isn't just about being big for the fun of it. A heart that massive is required to pump blood through a beast the size of a skyscraper, which is a literal masterpiece of biological plumbing. And that monumental scale, it applies to their vocal cords too. A blue whale song can travel underwater for hundreds of kilometers, creating a vast communication network across the world's most unforgiving oceans. Finally, Section 5, Cryptobiosis, the Indestructibles. All right, we just looked at the largest animal ever. Now let's shrink all the way down to the microscopic level to meet the undisputed heavyweight champion of survival, the tardigrade, also affectionately known as the water bear. Honestly, this creature absolutely shatters the laws of what should kill a living thing. They're tiny, barely 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters long, and they live everywhere. Water, soil, moss, you name it. But here is the kicker. They can withstand heat well above boiling, absolutely freezing temperatures, completely lethal doses of radiation, and, get this, the deadly zero-pressure vacuum of outer space. They effortlessly shrug off apocalyptic conditions that would instantly destroy us or any other animal. Their secret to near immortality is a biological process called cryptobiosis. It's a state where the organism loses almost all of its body water and literally just hits the pause button on its vital functions. They aren't sleeping, they aren't hibernating, they are pausing life itself. Their metabolism drops so low it's undetectable, letting them wait out the most lethal conditions for years, sometimes decades, until things get better.
The way they actually do this sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's beautifully simple. Step 1, the tardigrade detects an extreme threat in its environment. Step 2, it expels its body water and replaces it with these special proteins that armor its cells against destruction. Step 3, it pauses its biological functions and enters suspended animation. It just curls up into a tiny, dry little ball and waits. And the coolest part? It's completely reversible. The second conditions improve and a little drop of water returns, they rehydrate and just keep on living as if not a single second has passed. No way, right?
So we've explored decentralized brains, insect megacities, miraculous limb regeneration, gigantic bioengineering, and the literal ability to pause life. Which brings us to the ultimate question we have to ask after this explainer. What can human science learn from these master survivors? Because think about it. If we can truly understand how the axolotl rebuilds a spinal cord, or how those tardigrade proteins shield DNA from cosmic radiation, well, we won't just be understanding the animal kingdom. We might literally be looking at the future of human medicine and the ultimate survival of our own species. What a thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining me for this analysis today. Stay curious and keep exploring.